Hey, what's going on? I'm Cole, and I'm joined here today with my co-host Blake. Blake, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Oh, dude, I am doing pretty okay. It is a Monday.
It's Tuesday, but
Whatever.
it's the
Monday's
second
Tuesday.
Tuesday's the second Monday of the week
Yeah.
technically. No days matter but Friday.
I mean, we always
But
we
every day
we
is
have a
Friday when you're unemployed. I'll drink to that.
cheers. Yeah, we have a joke at work where it's always just case of the Mondays, no matter what day it is when something goes wrong.
Someone's got a case of the moon days.
Yeah. So hey, we've got Les Cruces from New Mexico. How's it going, Les
What
Cruces?
up?
Thank
What
you
up?
for stopping by. We've got my dude Chris over in Las Vegas. So hey Chris, how you doing? He expected punctuality. I think we were technically started like a few seconds late, but we were still within that like 1 minute mark. So I think we're good.
We like to keep our audience waiting and waiting with anticipation. Panting and begging like a dog waits for a treat. So that's what Cole and I like to do. You see, makes the show better.
Yeah. If you want us to come on and talk about books, it's usually better for everyone, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we've got Trev. Hey, what is going
What
on,
up,
Trev? How are
Trev?
you doing today? And yeah, you guys can both be happy about your Kansas City Chiefs.
Ah, never gets old.
And yeah, so I've got this Powerbomb scrolling at the bottom. So if you guys are interested in winning this, so I've got the weirdest story to tell you. I have 2 copies of this. I got it from Gmart, and I kind of forgot that I got it from Gmart. So I also got it from my local comic book shop because this is like one of those books where it's like I wanted to read it in actual physical print because it just looks better in that format personally for me. Some reason I don't have either issue number 3. I definitely read it, but I'm missing 2 versions of the third cover. So we've got Sean. Hey, how is it going? He said his computer is buzzing. I don't know if that's us or if that's a Blake reference. I'm hoping that our
Yeah,
mics aren't
I don't
giving
know.
weird feedback.
Sorry if your computer's broken. I hope that's not the case.
Also, we got David, Comics and Wrestling. I think you're going to like this comic if you
What's
have
up,
not
David?
already, but I think you have, David. And we got Izzyverse NYC. And I know Izzy is a big fan of pro wrestling too. I am not sure if Izzy read Do a Powerbomb, but I think he said that he did. So we'll see. But yeah, as you can see, I've got hashtag Powerbomb in the bottom if you guys want to do that. As I was saying, I might have all 7 issues of this if I can find an issue 3 somewhere in my house. If I can't, then I'm probably just going to buy the trade for this person. This one might take a week to send out. We'll just kind of see what's going on. And
Hey,
yeah,
waiting's
Izzy has.
fine when you get a free comic. It's you can wait.
Yeah.
Comics is
So
a comics is a long form industry. It's all about waiting. Ask
it's
ask
all
any
about waiting.
professional.
So yeah, we're here today to talk about Do a Powerbomb. This is volume 1, which I don't know that there will be a volume 2 of this, but they call it volume 1 in the trade
I saw
paperback.
that.
Oh, we
I
got
thought that was interesting. What's up, David?
David. How's it going? Yeah.
Shout out to David who's sick with COVID and decided
Oh,
to
bummer,
tune
dude.
in to hang out with us, man.
Yeah, well,
Thank
thank
you
you for
so
hanging
much,
out
and
with
I
us.
hope
And
you're starting to feel better, bud. Well, he got a pull quote from a certain person that we're both fans of for his new book, and it was a very very good pull quote. So I know he's feeling a little good in that regard, anyway.
yeah, and if you guys haven't checked out Nottingham from Mad Cave Studio, make sure you
Very
do that.
good, very good.
And then, yeah, so Do a Powerbomb, volume 1. I don't know why it says volume 1, but it does. So I'm going to read this little synopsis for everyone here. And it says, Lona Steel Rose wants to become a pro wrestler, but she's living under the shadow of her mother, the best to ever do it. Everything changes when a wrestling obsessed necromancer asks her to join the grandest pro wrestling tournament of all time, which is also the most dangerous. It's The Wrestler meets Dragon Ball Z in a tale where competitors get more than they've ever bargained for. This is from writer and artist Daniel Warren Johnson, colorist Mike Spicer, and letterer Russ Wooten. This is 7 issues. And yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of people highly regarded this as one of the best books of 2022. I know you had not read it before this. Is that correct, Blake?
Yeah, I hadn't read it. I kept I kept getting I got the review copies, but I get like distracted by shiny objects and interview requests, and so like I kept putting it off and kept putting it off, and then like 3 or 4 issues deep, I was like, I'll just wait for the trade, and then finally the trade came out, and yeah, man, no disappointments, and I'm kind of mad at myself for waiting so long to read it because like what a great experience, but luckily nothing was spoiled. Like I didn't really know a lot going. I didn't really know. I thought it was going to be a regular wrestling comic, right? Like I didn't know any of like this like supernatural afterlife, you know, necromancer craziness was going to come into play, right? It like totally blew me away, and I was all about it. That's why I know solicits are good for the industry, and they need to be around for people to pre-order comics and to help shops and stuff. But like, I love going into comics blind a lot of times.
Yeah.
I feel like these solicits like really give away too much sometimes, and it hurts the reading experience every now and then.
Yeah, and we got my buddy Goose, also known as Chad Johnson, who's one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. So, one thing, as I mentioned to everyone else, we've got a scrolling hashtag. I might be able to give you all 7 issues of this, but if I do not find my issue number threes, which apparently in 2 sets, I'm missing both issue number threes, which is odd. But
Did you
yeah,
buy? Do you have like do you have like variant covers, or do you have like
nope.
two sets of the exact same covers?
2 sets of the exact same cover. So that's
Or
the
wild
issue
man pull?
sometimes is there's certain books like this where I know that I'll want them, and I just order them from Gmart when I see it in Gmart,
Okay.
and then I kinda forget about it.
I I and then there's a nice cover gallery in the end. There's some really great
Yeah.
covers for this, and I'm a huge Maria Wolf fan. And there's a Maria Wolf variant for issue 6, and I'm very, very stoked that I just looked it up and it's cover price. I was really worried it was going to be like taxed to the max or something.
So, David, there's one big spoiler in this, and, I know that the main spoiler that I'm thinking you're
Cole has
referencing.
already warned me
I
not to
told
say it.
Blake we can't talk about it because I feel like that's the one thing, right? When we
Yeah.
talk about what this book is about, right? It's about this, it's in technically in this, right? We're gonna go over it. We're gonna maybe like discuss some of the tag teams and stuff like that. But like, yeah, we're gonna try not to spoil that one thing because I think that's kind of the biggest part of this. And I mean, I don't know, most of the times I think that we don't really get like in deep with the layers, right? We tell the general synopsis stories and some of our favorite pieces, but we try not to like ruin the experience. And I think this is one of those books where it is so good that I don't really want to, try and ruin it for
Yeah.
people, especially when we pitched that, hey, we're going to be giving away this trade. So, but one question that I did not actually know your answer for: are you a fan of pro wrestling? Like currently, do you read any
No.
pro wrestling?
Not
No.
currently. I when I was like in the 90s, right? Like Diesel and
Stone
Razor
Cold.
Ramon, the weird Razor Ramon and Gold Dust, like will they won't they fuck romance action that was going on. And then like Undertaker and and Kane and I was really into it in those days. And I used to mow lawns in my neighborhood, and my buddies and I would back when you had to pay for pay-per-views, they were like $50 to $70. And
Mhm.
so like we would put our lawn mowing money together to like watch Royal Rumble or something at my house and order it on pay-per-view. And I just recently found out that like now like they if you like pay for Peacock and stuff, like you get to watch all that on there and not pay. Because I was the other
Yeah.
day, I was like, man, I bet, like thinking of inflation and how like stuff, the price changes. I asked my buddy Brody, and I was like, dude, how much are those on pay-per-view these days? And he was like,
And he's
oh,
like $5.99.
you just watch it on Peacock. I was like,
The
no way.
the the one thing that I'll say about Peacock, Peacock sucks. You can't pause. So, like, usually what I would do during these pay-per-views a lot of the times is, like, I'd pause it, and then I'd go, like, put my daughter to bed or, like, clean the kitchen real quick. Then I could watch some matches, skip through because they still
Mm.
have commercials in between, like, prepping.
Oh,
That's
really?
the one bummer. There's commercials technically with this, right? So it is kind of annoying, but AW or AWA, AEW, the other venture, they all their pay-per-views, as Izzy is saying, are $50, which like they technically are putting on a better wrestling show that a lot of people like, especially if you're a fan of like older attitude era stuff. They're kind of
Okay.
doing that a little bit better. But yeah, like that's a hard thing. 1 out of 3 WWE pay-per-views are good, but you pay $5 for them, so I'm not usually upset. And
Yeah.
also, Taylor Winder stopped by. He said he dropped a power bomb a few minutes ago. So, hey, congratulations. Hopefully, it went safe. We got Brian LCS, and we have the
What's up,
Geek
Brian? What's up,
Collective. So,
What's up,
thank you
Joey?
guys for stopping by
Yeah, thanks
here.
for tuning in, everybody. It's awesome.
And there's other things. So, did you read that opening paragraph thing? The little like the
The
Daniel Warren
letter, the
Johnson
opening,
letter.
yeah,
Yeah, did you read that? Okay.
about his
So,
baby not sleeping.
so me as a father, that really got me because like as I read this story, I pretty much read this and like I read issue 1 and then I read the rest the next night.
Yeah.
But I read that letter and it's him talking about, so this is, he watched New Japan, which New Japan is another thing. AEW is kind of linked with New Japan, but New Japan is supposed to be like the best, right? Like real pro wrestler fans are like, we like New Japan, right? It's great. And he talks about, so he's watching this. They do this one that I think is like a month long. It's like crazy. I know Todd was talking about it, where it's like, full. There's like one pay per view they do that's like 24 hours long, and he used to watch that. But it's like, he talked about it and how his daughter was sleeping, and like the whole time I'm thinking this, I'm like, I'm wondering, you know, like as he's like, this is a story about, we've mentioned that the daughter loses like her mother, right? And that's why she's trying to do this thing. Like, did he have like weird thoughts about that? I know that he like kind of has this like always playing on a heartstring thing. Um,
Oh yeah.
but I
I
didn't
didn't.
really know if like any of that had to do with it at all.
Well, I'm pretty sure his wife's alive.
Yeah.
So hopefully, but yeah, it's
But
he's so good at making people sad. I cried 3 fucking times. 3
yeah, I
different
definitely
times.
got these things
And,
on the
and a
net, your
couple
neck
like
kind of goes.
two sads and then one happy in issue set
Yeah.
one happy cry in issue 7. Um but yeah, he's like, and I remember reading I almost said full metal falcon of
Murder Falcon.
then I almost said Full Metal Alchemist Murder Falcon, that book that I love so much I can't even say the name of. That's that was something really really special. That was my first experience with Daniel Warren Johnson, right? And he has not let me down since. The only thing I've heard people kind of mutter about is that Dinosaur Justice League miniseries.
He technically didn't do that.
Yeah, he like oversaw it or something, and he definitely didn't
Yeah,
draw
like he
it.
did the script, right? So like there's that new what is it? Vampires versus DC maybe? Like Tynan uh Tynan is overshadowing Matthew Rosenberg on it. So like Matthew Rosenberg's writing it, but Tynan probably gave him a direction, and that's probably what happened here.
Wait,
I
what
think, yeah,
book was
like
that?
the Justice League one. Or sorry,
Oh,
Vampires versus
okay, yeah, yeah.
DC or whatever. But yeah, oh, interesting. This is a crazy hot take, I feel like, only because I
Whoa.
could have been so this is the thing. I'm gonna say on paper that Murder Falcon was the best comic that I read in 2022. I had like after my surgery, I went through a surgery earlier in the year, and I just was in this weird slump where I just couldn't get in to reading comics, and everyone talked about how Murder Falcon was one of their favorite comics of all time, right?
Mhm.
So I read Murder. I got the hardcover came from Gmart because that's where I buy things like that, and it came and I read the first issue. We had dinner, and then I read the entire trade, like the hardcover in one sitting, and like my wife like walked in the middle of an issue. I'm like crying tears reading this comic book. Her mom's like there too. My mother-in-law just like, what are you guys doing? I'm
Reading
just
my
like,
comics,
I'm
leave me
getting
alone.
emotional about a book with pictures in it that I really like. And so that's the thing. I know that Chris sent us a message about this because he saw that we were reviewing this, and he kind of said that Daniel Warren Johnson figured out this like heartstring pulling thing.
Yeah.
And somebody else mentioned that he mentioned too. Apparently, Daniel Warren Johnson said there could be possibly an arc too. So that is something that I would be both intrigued to see and not. But
That like okay, so I don't want to because I don't think we should say much about issue 7 either because that was a big
no,
twist for me too.
yeah,
Um just and that I also Chaos was when we were talking earlier and he mentioned like it was very formulaic and like I see like the Daniel Warren Johnson formula, but like there was a lot of twists and turns that really took me. There's some really great twists in here that like I consider myself a pretty proficient reader, right? And I didn't pick those up. So, I there is a formula to it, but he also like throws you off your gears and kind of keeps you unstable, which also helps him manipulate the reader emotion throughout the piece. I think because when you get jostled like that and you're already a little unsettled, right? And then you're as a reader, you're kind of like in this vulnerable place that he can manipulate you even further. I think he's really good at that. But yeah, I don't remember where I was going with that, but that part sounded smart, so we'll just end it there. Good night,
yeah.
everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, and so that's the thing. I went into it with the second read, and I think I saw the formulaic stuff, and I only know this because Chaos said it, and he gets in you with these like weird brain wormholes, right? There were a few times where I definitely had some things that like, oh, and I wanted to probably like I went in this thinking don't wear rose-colored goggles, but by the time that I like left it, I was still just as happy as I was the first time. I think the
Yeah.
first two issues are a little bit weaker than I remember them being the first time, but like, I don't know. It's a setup, right? They still hooked me. I still wanted to completely read it. When I say that I only read issue 1 and then I read the rest the next day, it was because I started reading an issue at like 11:45, and usually if I'm not sleeping by midnight, it's pretty wild for me. Except if maybe a Saturday. And hey, what's going on, Kenneth Bird? Thank you for
What's up,
stopping
Kenneth?
by.
Yeah, it it was because I'm a big fan of everything he's done, except I haven't read Extremity yet, but he Beta Ray Bill, and then what is it, Wonder Woman, Dead Earth. So like when he did those, I said this to my audience, I was like, this motherfucker came over to DC and took an iconic DC character and did something totally new and fresh with her for Black Label,
Yep.
and wrote one of the coolest things DC put out that year. It came out what, 2021.
Sounds
And
right to me.
and then he went over to Marvel and took Beta Ray Bill and wrote this other really great standout Marvel miniseries. And I was like, he just fucking like took two beautiful shits on the doorsteps of the big two, set them on fire and left them there to burn, and then went back to like do his own thing again. And I'm just like he's so good at what he
It was
does. But then
2019,
2019, okay, so it's even a little bit
pre-COVID.
older.
But issue 3 came out in June. So this was one of those books where issue
They get
1 came
delayed.
out, issue 2 came out in February of 2022.
Oh wow.
Issue 3 came out in June of
Oh wow.
2022.
Yeah, see, I
'Cause
waited.
that
I
was
waited till
the
that was
shutdown,
complete
right?
to read it. Okay. That I still need to get
And
that
yeah,
hardcover too. That
what's
I
going
don't
on,
have the
good soul?
Murder of
Thank you for
Falcon
coming in.
hardcover either.
And hey, he promised me comics. How's it
What's
going?
up,
I'm
Sparks?
guessing
What's
this
up, baby?
Sparks. So how's it going? And thank you for joining us. Yeah, and once again, everyone, there is a hashtag going down there. Put that in the chat if you want a
You can
chance
get
to
all
go in with it.
7
Oh,
issues
and
except issue
we got
3.
Ignacio's art was actually featured in
Yeah.
the back panels of this. He has a little, I think it's issue 3 or 4. Maybe that's why I don't have 2 issue 3s. Maybe I ended up, did I send one of those to you maybe and I forgot about it? Who knows? We'll see. We'll figure it out. But yeah, and so yeah, that was a great book. I really like Dead Earth. I think Beta Ray Bill was good, but of all of the books that we've talked about that he's read, that's probably maybe one of the weaker ones for me, only because I mean it's like a buddy cop book, right? It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. That first like issue, you get Fing Fang Foom, and you're like, that is sweet.
And this
But
ship and Scuttlebutt and like all that
Scuttlebutt,
stuff.
yeah, yeah,
That was my
for
first really. I haven't read much Beta Ray Bill. Like I knew who he is, right? But
that's
I
the
don't.
first Beta Ray Bill I've read too. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I was just like, yeah, take me for a ride, baby, and I was down for it. But this stands out, and also I didn't think it was possible, but his art is better. This is the best, like regardless of where you think this stands on his narrative capabilities of what he's done in the past, this art is by far the best that he's put out. Like the action, the fluidity, the fatigue lines he puts on the characters as they go through these like torturesome battles and just turns their body into garbled meat, right? Like, and it's bloody and it's violent, and the motion lines are great. Spicer's colors are always wonderful, and Russ does great letter work no matter where he does. So it's a phenomenal team, but the art just absolutely stands out to the max. And there's some big panels, there's some great double page splashes. Daniel Warren Johnson does some amazing background work, like in the scenery and stuff, and these new environments when we meet the necromancer and like the castle and the crazy ring, and there's just so much to just, it's a fucking ocular ecstasy is what, like on every page. It just absolutely blows my mind. And yeah, and also like the emotions he's able to put in the characters too, like pain, both emotional and physical pain, pride, wonder, bewilderment. Like it just, you always know what these characters are feeling because they're
Yeah.
physically expressing it on the page.
And to go on with that, like Cobra Sun, one of the characters is you learn later on that he is a Canadian luchador which is also
Yeah.
pretty funny to me. But he's wearing a mask, right? He's a luchador. He has this mask on throughout the whole book, but you still like feel these emotions for him and understand his emotions. I still think though of all of the panels, there's this one panel, and I forget which fight this is in, but Cobra Sun does a kick to somebody's face. And it's just this like giant extended leg kick, and it's like loosely one of my favorites. Yeah, and he's saying Daniel Warren Johnson and Trad Moore are modern masters. And
Insane. They're both fucking gnarly, yeah. And they have like Trad more like they're both like on a different level, but like Trad Moore's just hard to explain his art. Like even as a comic reviewer, and I tell people this all the time, like I struggle talking about art, and I oftentimes feel like I say the same thing like over and over again in my reviews about art. It's like I'm always worried about that, but
yeah, you're right. It is issue 7, but we kind of don't. We're trying to leave out the 7. What happens in issue 7? So that makes a lot more sense when you say 7. Now I know that is exactly the panel that it is. But yeah, we talked about this earlier, right? I think right before you got here. I read the first issue and I immediately was like, I no longer want this book on my pull list because I just knew it's not a book for me. It is a book I think for a specific genre of people. People really like it. I know.
see, I
One of
love
the
dinosaurs. It's on my list, like on DCU, but I just
one of the
haven't.
things I said when I didn't read this is a lot of the times I don't like fun superhero books, right? Like this is
You
just
guys
fun
hear?
and
You
zany.
guys hear those
It's
gunshots in my neighborhood? Like,
I definitely did not.
oh,
Watch out, good luck. And
yeah,
hey, what's
sorry.
going on? What's going on, couching and slouching with C Bizzle? Once
What
again,
up?
there
What
is
up?
a giveaway down here. So for everyone new, I see that some people jumped in here a little bit later. So if you haven't already, make sure you do that. But yeah, so um the gunshots definitely kicked me off. I forgot where I
Sorry,
was going. Oh yeah.
sorry.
So that book was fun, right? That was its thing. I don't know that I want that, right? It's just kind of
Mm,
silly, zany. I know that a lot of people that ended up getting it didn't love it. I think it was, and I think as we mentioned, it was Daniel Warren Johnson wrote the script and that some other dude wrote it. So
yeah.
like, I don't know if you liked it though, Bidsoul, let me know. I know like Nick from Comic Burrito, one of the things he was saying is that he really liked it, but every time he was just like, that was okay. That was like his opinion, right? Like
Oh
it was
yeah.
fine. And oh yeah, and thank you. Yeah, I hit
Oh yeah.
1,000 subscribers
Mr.
yesterday.
Mr. 1K over here, YouTube hot shit Cole. That's gonna be his new
He
YouTube
kind of
channel name.
presented it. Yeah, this is it. So, but so yeah, I guess we can kind of get into this story. And there's some big spoilers in here. We're definitely not going to go over those big spoilers. Like we're gonna purposely avoid those. So the general idea is that there is this tournament for wrestling. And once again, my favorite part of this whole joke is that and not joke, but this whole book, right? Um, is that where they like from all these other planets, they pull all these other people from different planets in to do a wrestling tournament, and all of them are like, "Oh, your wrestling is fake." That's
Yeah.
funny. Like even the guy that's setting this tournament up doesn't know that professional wrestling is fake in there. And oh, and yeah, once again, it's okay, you can be late to here, but no one realizes that it is fake, um for them. So it's just kind of funny, and they have to learn to actually like wrestle for real, which is like it's always funny. So like there's one time, one of the matches they end up doing is like a falls count anywhere, anything goes. And like I've always wondered how the hell, and you can tell, right? Like so there was this match between Dave Batista and Triple H, and it was pretty awful, but it was like their last fight. It might have been Dave Batista's last fight. um Triple H was like hitting him with a chain, and you could tell that he wasn't hitting him that hard, right? But like I never understand how. Sorry, is he? I never understood how can you hit somebody with a bat or a steel chair
Yeah.
covered in barbed wire and it not hurt? And that's the thing he kind
It
of
definitely
says in this,
hurts, I feel
because
like.
yeah, it still hurts, but like you just deal with it. But like also, how do they not just accidentally fuck somebody up,
Oh,
right?
I think
Like,
see, I think that happens all the time. So going back when I was like into wrestling, like right when Mankind wrote that biography, and it was like a pretty big
oh
seller
yeah,
book, and I bought it and read about it. And when he, especially in like the indie wrestling scenes, he would talk about, well, he got his ear ripped off by pulling his head out that was got tangled up in the ropes, right? And it ripped his ear off. But he would talk about like all the times he pissed blood, um, and like the the thumbtacks and the barbed wire and like going to bed after those matches and like not being able to get comfortable, right? Because your whole body's done, and it's also like scraped up and torn up and all this stuff. So I mean, even though it's part mostly scripted and it is a little fake, they know how to fall and stuff. But if you fall off a 10-foot ladder or you jump off that ladder onto somebody on a table or onto the announcer's table, like it's gonna hurt. There's no way not to like heave your body into those scenarios and not feel pain, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense it's fake, and that's why these guys hopefully end up making the big bucks, right? Because they like football players, they put themselves through these like torturesome scenarios, and just like football players, once they get like 50 years old or older, like they don't walk right, crazy
Well,
arthritis,
Diamond Dallas
terrible.
Page,
Yeah.
like, was supposed to never, like, walk again, right?
Yeah.
And do you remember the Hardy brothers?
Oh yeah.
So Matt Hardy recently was in when he switched over from WWE to AEW. And one of his first matches, there was kind of like this group that he was in was going against this other big group, Jericho's group, right? And there was this guy Sammy Guevara that's on there. He goes to hit Matt with a chair. And so I think they use like there's aluminum chairs and there's steel chairs, right?
Okay.
And I think that he accidentally got one of the not aluminum ones and hit like Matt Hardy got like messed up. Like it was pretty bad. And like, but they had to finish like it was mid-match. So they just had to finish it, right? There was a time I think the Goldberg fought Undertaker. And I know Undertaker complains about it because Goldberg always hit his head on a door and apparently like concussed himself. And the Undertaker just had to wrestle a concussed Goldberg, which has to be the scariest thing ever because
Yeah.
Goldberg scares me and I hate him. But yeah, so yeah, so they go to this tournament. We definitely got really off the rails, but yeah. Oh, it's Cody that was hit. I swore that Matt Hardy got hit too in one of those things. I don't know. Apparently, Sammy Guevara just doesn't know the difference between chairs to hit people with, maybe. But yeah. So I mean, there's this tournament. It's crazy too to think that there's this like the first people they go against, right? Are the what was their names? Orangabang.
Orangabang, so fucking
Orangabang.
metal. Oh
Yeah.
my god. I want like those shirts. I want like some Orangabang
I
t-shirts.
forget what the team's name is, but they're like pizza related,
Yeah.
like
And,
the
and it's like a
Pizza
wolf
Bros
or a
or something
raccoon
like
or
that.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, and their finisher move is called a New
The New
York
York
Slice.
slice.
Or no, that's their wrestling style, I think is what it is.
But they actually like have like that giant piece of pizza. They're like waving it like over their head.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it's so ridiculous, right? And it's so again like how he can like bring out these like real base intense emotions out of this like ridiculous fucking wrestling tournament, and have this like running joke of like of the earth's wrestling being fake and all this like just goes to showcase like how powerful of a talent like he can do anything he wants to do, and I think he's at the level where he gets to do that now. Like he just is going to write whatever book he wants. They're going to give him however many issues, like I feel
Yeah,
like
just don't put it
Image.
in continuity.
Yeah. but like this was like a 7-issue miniseries, right? And so he really got to
Yeah.
take his time and pace it out the way he wanted to. And Image was very much just like I don't really know what Image thought, but I feel like they were like, "Hey baby, do whatever you want. Like, this like this is going to be great for us." And it was.
So yeah, that we've got this too.
Yeah.
This we talked about Beta Ray Bill, but I think the one thing Beta Ray Bill, I think technically was in continuity after the King in Black,
Yeah, it was a tie-in. But I
which was all
also like
weird.
let's even though like that wasn't your favorite,
Yeah, it
right?
wasn't a tie-in. I think it was like a this is the repercussion of the
Okay.
King in Black.
Okay. Because I wish like if more, because it had the on the covers, because I bought those single issues and it says like King in Black. It says like it's branded King in Black.
I think
And
that was a King in Black variant.
okay.
I could be
Um
wrong, but
but yeah, I've well, if it was part of the event, like I wish more event tie-ins or side pieces were that good. Um but if I guess if not, then it doesn't matter.
yeah, and I mean there was nothing in there. I think even dealing with King in Black either, which was also funny. And yeah,
Wasn't Foom, wasn't he fucked up from Venom?
I don't think Foom was actually in the King in Black.
Oh,
I think that there was maybe some repercussions, but like also
I'm gonna
Foom
have to buy.
really
I'm gonna have to buy the omnibus.
Foom
Finally
also
read.
didn't really have anything to do with the story, minus that he was like there.
Hmm.
Oh, apparently I'm wrong and you're right, but
Oh,
maybe we'll figure that out later.
I mean, we could probably Google it, but you know, we're live. We're live. We can't Google stuff when we're live. That's unprofessional.
Yeah, so I mean, of these like tag teams, I know that they all like had funny moves. Like, there was one that was like the Knights. I think I forget what their name is, but their move was called the Table of King Arthur or something,
Yeah,
or King Arthur's Table. And it was funny. My favorite part is when they landed their finishing move. You see the actual table with King Arthur at it, like
yeah.
in like this weird like background or image. I guess it's more of like what am I trying to like a shadow image
It's like an
almost or something like that.
apparition in the background. Yeah. I also liked what was the other one that had the like the coin pouch of Judas, it just kind of reminded me of our of Travis Gibbs coins of Judas, right? That everybody's talking about right now from Band of Bards, and I just kind of got a kick out of that the coin pouch of Judas.
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that too, and I was gonna send that to Travis, but I also have a new tablet and I've been too wrong. Yeah, yeah, I'm trying my best, but sometimes when it's a little hard. So we do see this, but yeah, I am wrong. So, but it's fine. I can be wrong
So
sometimes.
what? So Foom was nullified.
Yeah, he was nullified. Well, I
Nice.
thought that he was, but I thought that really I mean, I don't think that really had anything to do with the actual story of it, but I could be wrong.
No, but I
I
like
don't know.
I think most tie-ins don't, right? I think like a
Yeah.
lot of times it's like, hey, how much shit can we squeeze in and make money out of, right? And a lot of times it's definitely feels like a cash grab, and this didn't feel that way. Like even if it didn't feel forced, even if it was like extra, not really needed. Like I just thought as like an event piece, I was like pretty impressed with it.
Yeah.
I just love fucking Daniel Warren Johnson, man. I like
I do
he's
too.
so he's
Like,
so metal, and I've shout out if you're listening because I tagged you. And I'm sure he's checking this out. But I've emailed you through your website and stuff, and I would love to interview you, man. Like just please respond to me, sir. I
yeah,
just want to
or
be your
just
friend.
email me and tell me you want me to interview you. I don't even do interviews, but I can rub it in Blake's face and let him know that Daniel Warren Johnson responded to me. But I think the one thing that I think is like kind of a bummer about this book, the only complaint I have is that this is a trade paperback and it costs $24.99. I'm
Oof,
like
really?
95% sure that they're going to release this
In a hardcover soon.
in a hardcover in 6 months and it'll be $29.99. Even if
Yeah.
it's 34.99, it's worth waiting almost that 6
Yeah.
months to get it. But if you haven't read it, you should also maybe just leave that hashtag down there and you can win a copy
Yeah,
of
maybe we can
maybe all 7
win some
issues or
comics.
maybe this thing. So, um yeah, I love the art in this. Like you had mentioned, it's funny. I went back and I looked through. So there's a lot of if you look up I didn't do a good job. I didn't make any like slides for this. But if you look at the cover of the trade paperback, you see the audience. I went back and I looked at every audience panel after I finished this book just to see if there were people that you might know. And there's very little detail in the audience members in
Yeah, he
here.
he
So
definitely like he's smart. He adds a lot of detail to the
when it
structure,
matters.
but yeah, it's not like what was that like Muhammad Ali versus Superman, and like Neil Adams drew like all like hundreds of people in the audience that you could pick out, like all these iconic comic book people and famous people like he drew like in the audience in that comic, and so like, it's not like that unfortunately, but I mean I can't imagine how much time that takes either, so like I get that.
I remember I saw at C2E2, there was a panel that had Tom King and Clay Mann in it, and I forget what this was even for, but Tom King was talking about how he had this opportunity where he sent, uh, Clay Mann this thing like, "Hey, I want this full page spread, and I want this many superheroes in it." And Clay Mann was just like, "Damn it, dude."
Yeah, the same thing. I remember a same scenario in Superman Unchained by Scott Snyder, and Jim Lee was talking about how Scott Snyder like told him, all right, there's this scene, and the monster is going to throw bat or he's going to throw all the Batmobiles at like Superman in the Batcave, and Jim Lee was like, how many Batmobiles? And Scott Snyder was like all of them. And it's like he like the 89 Batmobile, the tumbler gets thrown, like all these like iconic Batmobiles get thrown at Superman by the I can't remember what the monster's name was, but like all of that stuff. What's up, three good nerds? Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, it's I love, like, it's funny how what these writers put the artists through sometimes, but when you get the payoff, right, it's like, well, you know, maybe the pain was worth it, hopefully, like, because it looked, I know Superman Unchained isn't everybody's favorite Superman piece. I happen to really dig it, but I'm a big Snyder fan, and love, I also love Jim Lee, and yeah, it's like that scene with all the Batmobiles, this was like, it was fucking great, man. You don't see a lot of stuff like that, you know. It's just like, it was a great thing to think about.
And yeah, hey, welcome through good nerds. Also, I just saw a bunch of new people jump in the
There's
chat. So
tons of
remember to
fucking
put
comments
hashtag
blowing up here,
Powerbomb.
boys.
We got my buddy Matt. Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Matt?
Or, sorry, we got Malibu Mark over here. We've got Comic Journey. Everyone wish Comic Journey happy 3 days after his birthday.
Hey, happy belated, bud. Thanks for tuning in.
And yeah, I know Brian was here earlier, but we'll just show him off because Ignacio drew this picture of Brian. So that's pretty cool. And
Oh,
if you want to
nice.
see
That does
what
look
a
familiar.
picture of me that Ignacio would draw would look like, it's right up there now. And now it's gone.
And if you want to see me, you can't, because Ignacio has never drawn me. That's fine though. I've never asked either, so I'm sure if I asked him or paid him, he would do anything. Because artists
Yeah,
do
yeah,
anything for money. You guys didn't know that?
they do. That's like such a weird thing. You just offer them money and they make it happen. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy what can happen when you pay your creatives, right? Shout out to people,
Shout out
places,
to
and
people
things that pay
needing work.
creatives. Yeah.
But did you have like a favorite of the other tag teams that were in this?
Oh, I mean, I loved Orangabang. I'm not gonna lie. But the final team, the villain, the technical villains of the piece, I guess.
Yeah.
And then what happens at the result of that match, and the like, just ruthless battling and dirty low blows and everything, like that that made me like them more.
For sure.
But like, even, well, okay, it made me love to hate them, basically, right? And it really, again, I can't say much about this aspect of it, but it really ramped up the stakes. It really changed the narrative pace and where I thought it was going, which again, like, you know, keeping me on my toes and not feeling formulaic to me. That tag team made all these new changes happen, and without them, like, the ending we get, which I thought was phenomenal, like going from like 6 to 7 and how it ends, like they were like the springboard of that fucking chaos.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we got a shop for comics. Hey, thank you for joining. Yeah, and that's the thing. The thing that was good about this is that like mostly every character that you got a slight backstory for, um, they all had redeemable qualities, right? That's like the thing, you know, we've talked about this, right? Daniel Warren Johnson knows how to play on people's heartstrings. Every character in this book that you were given some sort of story, you know, like, granted, I know that what David made this, yeah, FISO. So their name was FISO, which stood for fuck your stupid opinion. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is also like, at first I didn't quite get that because they just
I
randomly
didn't
kept
either till
saying
just
it.
now.
And then like, yeah, like, why
God
do they
damn
keep
it.
saying that? And then I looked at their name and I was like, oh, it makes more sense.
Now I
And hey,
really
we got
like them.
Norenrad. How's it going? But
What's
yeah,
up?
so that was like their team name. Like, they're the, you know, the obvious heel, right? And they were so great because you hate them. And yeah, like he even mentioned up here, they tried to kick up. That was it. Literally, there's a
Yeah.
panel where one of the dudes goes to punch a dog.
A puppy, a tiny, cute
It
little
says
puppy.
puppy punch. Puppy punch is written on top of it because that dude is such a terrible human being that he's screaming puppy punch is he tries to punch a puppy. And hey, how's it going? Fantastic. And I think that Chaos and Comics is going to be pretty happy because it looks like apparently we have 20 people in here right now.
No
So hey,
shit. That's awesome, man. Thanks
yeah,
for
and
tuning
once
in,
again, yeah,
everybody.
thank you
This is
everyone for
great.
stopping by. We do appreciate all of you coming by. And that's why, as we do these kind of reviews, one of the things we like to do is give you guys the opportunity to win this book. And like I said, I did buy apparently every issue of this, but I twice, but apparently I didn't buy issue 3 once. So hopefully I can find that and send it. So
Issue 3 is like where it really started because like you said, like the first
it's
two
the
issues
one,
are
the
like
cover is sweet because
are
it's got the
pretty set up.
orangutangs on it.
Yeah, but like
The only
it's like where it gets starts getting pretty real, right?
I've just got so many comics that I need to sort. I've pretty much haven't put a comic away since April, and I'm dealing with the repercussions of that when you read hundreds of comics a month. So I'm just got a terrible situation that I'm getting through, and that's the issue where I like tried to move everything, into these piles, and I just got to the image stuff getting put back. So
Oh, dude, but I've been I have the new studio set up now. Like, thank you everybody who helped me do that. By the way, it was so incredibly cool, everybody. And but as you can see, like I have a wider angle of my clusterfuck place now, and so you can see I was so insecure about this. I interviewed Mark Russell again and Richard Pace the other day, and I noticed it. Like I was like, oh my god, they can just see like all these like boxes and books stacked up everywhere in my room. Like I can't, like, they just see that I'm like this comic book hoarder. And I was like, well, there's nothing, I can't do anything about it yet. I keep thinking about upgrading to a green scene. I guess I could clean too. Well, it's not even about cleaning. It's just like I need shelves. I need to like
yeah,
build some shelves and stuff. But yeah, anyways, so like you just
which
sorry I'm a clusterfuck, everybody. That's why you let me
eh,
though.
also a complete like random off topic, but if you guys go to DJ Links, I don't know, this might have been a Link Squad only video, but he's been putting out these videos of he's updating his room and he actually built these shelves. And it was actually awesome to see him do that. So yeah, and remember everyone that's here. I'm trying to get in here. Yeah, reading is for suckers. Agreed.
Yeah, we just buy books. I don't. Who likes buying the books that they buy? Like
Yeah,
I
who
get.
likes reading the books? Yeah.
Yeah, who
I
likes?
know the biggest line from Comic Burrito that Nick used to always repeat was, "Read it, I own it."
Yeah,
Because I have
exactly.
not read it, but I own it.
Yeah, definitely. We were talking about that earlier with Chaos when he was talking about how much he liked Extremity, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to read that, and you were both like, it's on Hoopla, and I was like, well, I have the trades. They're
I just
sitting
know
there.
because I got I read the first 2 trades, and I think there's 3 trades of Extremity, which is another. I think
There
that's the
is.
first
I
one.
only have
Actually,
two.
so fun fact, I met Daniel Warren Johnson. I have a signed copy of Extremity because that book
Sick.
came out and he was at C2E2,
Is he
and
like
I
as
just went up
awesome as
to
he
him.
seems? Is he like really cool in person?
Well, he was just doing sketches and talking to some dude when I showed up. So I just like weirdly stood there at his table while him and another dude were just being dudes together, just talking. And he was like drawing, and I was just like watching him. And I was like, I don't really want to. And then he was like, hey, sorry. And I was like, I didn't really, you guys were having fun. I can wait for you to sign this book that I'm going to ask you to sign. It's just like, how'd you like it? And I was like, I still haven't read it. And he's like, it came out 4 months ago. And I was like, sorry, dude. I read a lot
Oops.
of comics. Yeah, like I
Hey,
don't
I
know.
mean, I know you're on a several press lists too, but it's like, I was talking about this the other day on an interview, like I'm very blessed with, people that think my opinion matters and they send me this stuff to read, but between like, Kickstarter stuff and the press lists I'm on and people sending me advances or asking for pull quotes or something, like I get upwards of 50 review copies a week. And like it's just me, right? It's not Blake's Buzz and crew. It's me, and I can only read so much, and now I'm trying to do these videos, and Cole was laughing at me last night because I had a canvas snafu and spent 2 fucking hours making a 60-second video, and I was venting to him. I was so mad. I was like, oh no, I'm quit, I'm done. Like it's like I can't do this anymore.
And so the reason I almost sent this to you, you should check out Brian has some. He did a Spider-Man fact, and he said he did that in Canva. And I asked him how long it took him to make it, and he told me it took him 3 minutes. And it's a pretty well done
Wow.
short. And I was actually impressed when he told me that it took him 30 seconds, right? Or 30 seconds, 3 minutes, and I was
Well, I'm
like,
done.
"This
I'm
is
out of
what
here,
you could
guys.
also do in
That's
there."
I'm
So,
gonna go think about my life and cry.
the hard thing too,
Congratulations
though,
on your great short that took you a minute to make, Brian.
yeah. The thing is, that, with shorts though, it's hard, right? You
Yeah.
have to, and I mean, it's just editing, and you have to get a hold of things. The more that you do it, the easier it actually becomes, and it just is a process, right?
Yeah.
So that's the hardest thing is you just got to find something you want to do. I mean, the good thing about YouTube as a whole is you can literally just say, "How do I do this and this?"
Oh yeah,
Like
there's
when
tons of help out there,
when I
definitely.
switched to Premiere, I think the issue is you just need somebody that uses it, right? Oh, you're getting asked if you can have a crew member. So this is the deal, Geek
Sure, I'm
Collective.
I'm your crew member.
He'll allow you
You
to
own
read
me,
1
Joey.
to 3 review copies a week, but you have to provide him 4 to 5 reviews that he can post
Yeah,
on his
yeah.
Substack.
I'm part of his network. That doesn't even make
I
sense.
know, that was the joke of it all. But I mean, we once again got off topic on
Yeah.
dual power bomb, but like this is, I mean, I
I
would
thought you
say that
froze for a second. I was like,
no,
"Oh,
this
no."
easily would make, I didn't make a top list, right? This is easily in my top 5 books of that I've
Almost
read
ever,
last year.
probably. Like, I don't even know, like, yearly. Like, I would say now, when we talk about, I don't know if you guys are like me, but when we talk about like favorites, unless it's Tool and music, right? Because they're always going to be like number one for me because I'm that guy. I'm like that nerdy ass
You're a
Tool
Tool
fan.
fan, yeah.
And but when we talk about favorite comics or favorite movies or stuff like that, like a lot of that depends on my mood, right? Like Lock and Key is very important to me, and also just because I love horror and stuff, and that's another series that like pulls at the heartstrings and great art and everything. But anyway, that's usually always up there. But depending on my mood or how I feel that way or how I feel that day, if you ask me like what my favorite comics are, it's oftentimes going to change. But I will pull out some like oldies but goodies or whatever. But I feel like this is going to be in like a top circulation, and also of like
It's
when people
rereadable.
when people ask me like a good comic to read or something. This would
If
be
you have a
something I
fan
would
that's a
recommend.
wrestling fan,
Yeah.
this is probably the best wrestling comic book. What was that other one?
There
Above the Ropes, I
Aftershock just
like
had
it.
one from
Oh, yeah,
from
that book
Chris
was
Condon.
solid. I mean, Crimson Cage was also
Crimson Cage
great.
was great. I'm actually gonna I have
That'd
a new
probably be up
short.
there,
I have a new
which I
short
mean,
idea for wrestling comics too.
which, man, that's like that was probably like there were probably 2 books in my top 15 that would have been
Which is
wrestling
crazy,
related.
yeah, because
Yeah,
it's like
I mean,
I don't know shit about wrestling anymore, other than like I'm really confused on Twitter when the big wrestling nights are going on and that's all everybody's talking about, and I'm like, what is this shit? Like,
I would say so. This is the thing. I'll give you like which ones you should watch. I usually watch SmackDown. SmackDown is fine. I
yeah.
The
Do
wrestler
they
I
do they
like,
still do Raw and SmackDown and all like they
yeah,
did back in the day? Okay,
Raw's
Monday
3
Night Raw
hours,
and
SmackDown's 2 hours.
Jesus
SmackDown's also on
Christ.
Friday. So that's why we do pizza night. Everyone's going to bed and I watch that. I'll watch all the pay-per-views. Um yeah, and that's the thing, Phil. If you haven't put hashtag Powerbomb in the chat, you should because we're
Yeah,
giving
because
that
you
away.
might get the
Um
comic to read. Everybody should. Hashtag
But yeah,
Powerbomb.
but the thing about it is, yeah, this is good. I mean, the 2 comics that I think, which is weird, that like I might rate over this, and it's hard because one of them technically hasn't even finished yet, would have been like I loved Human Target. I think Human Target is a
I
phenomenal
need to
book,
read
and
that. I've
I'm
only read the
excited.
first couple
The final
issues.
issue technically came out today, but and I really liked A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. That's like the
Yeah.
perfect book for me. Like that's the
Dude, I
I
read that in
want
like an
this.
hour. It's like so little dialogue. It's so cinematic.
I read the first volume when I sat down in my seat on a plane before we took off. Like
Yeah,
it's
it
great
moves
though, but
quick.
that's just one of those books where like I plan on rereading that like every half a year maybe
And we
because
get the
it's
deluxe
that
edition in what,
beautiful of a
August or
thing,
something?
right?
I think. We're doing that
Don't
hardcover.
watch any, they're dumber. Are we allowed to do stuff after everyone goes to bed? What's your secret?
I just don't
I
sleep.
don't know. I usually read in my bed on a tablet.
I do too. Well, I have a new like necklace reading light. So I either read on my tablet or read that. It's pretty you can like angle the lights and it charges with a USB.
What is the volume?
The volume.
Oh, I read. Never mind. I literally read that volume before coming to hang out with him because he was in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember I had like that. I had like Hickman's Secret War on like my tablet at the time, just because it's like, let's see what I can read. Yeah, Secret War from Hickman, or yeah, it was Secret War. It was good, but it wasn't as good as The Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. I don't know. That's just like a perfect comic for me. It was like, here's a ton of action. It's weird. Like you have to pay attention to the panels and like you watch it. It's like beautiful and horrifying. But yeah, Do a Powerbomb. Do a Powerbomb was great. And I think that you don't have to be a fan, right? You don't have to be a wrestling fan. But I think it might help. I don't know anyone. That was a weird burp, but I would guess Taylor. I don't know too much about Taylor, but I would guess Taylor is not a wrestling fan. Well, I know a decent amount. I know the comics you like. We are similar and different in the same sense, but I assume you do not like wrestling. You are a Green Bay Packers fan, which is loosely like the worst fandom besides maybe like the Cowboys.
I mean, I'm not a wrestling fan. Like I said, I used to watch it
Yeah.
as a kid, but I haven't watched it in a really long time. Now,
I just
I
don't know
will
if
say that I've seen some videos of like some very attractive women like beating the shit out of each other in wrestling, and like that intrigues me on a different level. And I've heard
in most situations, like the women's battle royal most of the time is better than the
nice.
men's. I would say at Elimination Chambers, the men's match was definitely better than the women's match this year, where you're like doing stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of solid women wrestlers, and I think they just have some of the better stories right now. The hard thing with the women's division, at least in most of them, is they kind of get oversaturated, which gets kind of like weird, right?
4-Day Darkness.
What are we gonna have words about? Did you hate The Righteous Thirst for Vengeance? And I get it. That is a book that I think is very like that is one of those books that like Do a Powerbomb. I don't think I've heard any singular person say I don't like Do a Powerbomb.
No.
I heard so many people like that was the thing. A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance is like one of those books where I think people were like, I love this book, or this book was stupid.
You know, it reminded me a lot of manga, like the way it moves and it's structured and the pacing, because that's how manga reads, right? There is dialogue, right? There is character communication and character growth. Like I don't want to like give a slight to manga and say that that's not there, but it's very cinematic, right? And it's like you see manga, you don't read it. Like some people say that, like you read comics, you see manga, and that's why like you get these volumes, right? In these like 200-page volumes, you can read in a sitting, right? It's not like reading a trade. Like you can fly through them, but it's like there are a lot of these like with Dragon Ball or some of these other like action fight manga. You know, it's like there's like 40-page fight scenes with minimal dialogue. And I feel like Righteous Thirst for Vengeance was similar to that in the way like pacing, like the way it was structured, pacing and drawn. And you know, there's a lot of people out there that aren't just into manga, and so I could feel like some people reading that and being like, well, I needed more talking, I needed more to read, or like I read this too quickly, I paid $10 for this trade or whatever, and it was over in like 8 minutes or something. You know, I could see people getting irritated, but also like grow the fuck up because it was amazing and deal with it.
I mean, I only watched
my
like
2
2 hours
cents.
But yeah, also Ian, thank you for joining us. And yeah,
Oh, thanks,
he had
Ian.
the same thought. That's kind of the hard thing, right? This was like one of those where I feel like a lot of people that I know too. Like that's the weird thing. I think wrestling is a big thing that crosses over in the comic community.
Huge crossover.
Yeah, I know on the comic burrito thing, even Chaos, I think, watched the Royal Rumble and joined our Royal Rumble. We had a Royal Rumble little like thing, and Steve, my buddy Steve Hayner, if you guys are on Instagram, follow him up. He is an awesome dude. He gave away a Roman's Reign figure to the person who had the most correct predictions. I granted was dumb and just picked silly picks for stuff because that's the kind of person that I am, but Power Mom. That was my nickname in high school.
So I do want to shout out this, and this is somewhat of a spoiler, but like the title of this book is Do a Powerbomb. No one did a fucking powerbomb in all 7 issues, they very clearly shout out all these big moves, which, you know, like the names sounded familiar, but I didn't really know what they were. And especially like once we get to like issues 6 and 7, when like the stakes are really high and I know things are wrapping up, and I'm like, that power bomb's coming. That power bomb, it never comes. I like, what is the thought process on this like title? What does it mean? Why was it left out? This is an iconic wrestling move, right? I get
So
what happened there.
I think the thing is the power bomb is kind of an outdated finisher.
Okay.
Kevin Owens sort of, he has a pop-up power bomb, but his technical finisher right now is a stunner. There's this big dude named Warlow. He does the symphony of power bombs, but he's giving you like 20 power bombs. You're getting like, he also like takes his stuff off. He's just a big dude. I think I don't follow him a lot, but what's that dude's name? The star of Emporium. I think his Gunter maybe is his name. I think he
I don't
does a
know.
power bomb. I could be wrong, but yeah, it kind of does. In issue 1, Cobra Sun goes for it.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he doesn't. Oh yeah, yeah. There is. So the original when they were also when they were a tag, that was his finishing move. Because when they were a tag team, there's a power bomb done. Because
Okay.
when Cobra Sun and Luna, I think is her name, were a tag team, their finisher move was he would put her in the tag in the power bomb, and she would give them a clothesline from the top rope.
Oh,
That was their
okay.
finisher move. So he sort of does it.
Luna, you mean Yua, the mom?
Yua, yeah, I forgot what her name was.
Okay, man,
The mother, yeah.
I'm all conflicted here now. Well, okay, shit. I guess there was a power. I'm just not
It.
snazzy enough. But the narrators and
I power bomb my
every other
son a lot into the couch. He loves it.
it was just funny because like I said, like they always call out these crazy moves and even like the crazy finishers later, and so they're always like screaming like what they did, like doing this from the top rope, or when Cobra Sun does when he climbs up on the balcony and like jumps off the fucking balcony.
Yeah,
Like that was so, but like they call out all these moves, and it was just funny because I just kept waiting for it, and then like finally at the end, and I realized this as I'm fucking crying because the last 2 pages are so intense. Oh my god. And so it ends so well. I'm like tearing up talking about it right now. Oh my god.
yeah,
And
dude, it is.
I'm
It's
glad
great.
I'm glad I got glasses on. But you know, like it's just like I'm sitting there and I'm just like, oh my god, that was good. And then I was like, no one ever did a power bomb. I was like,
Yeah.
I have so many emotions right now.
If I were to rate this book on a scale of colors, I would rate it green because green is my favorite color.
Yeah, definitely. If I was going to give it a medal, it would be platinum.
I think that we are getting close to the 60-minute mark. We've got about 2 minutes left. So I'm going to give everyone here. Yeah, dude, it's so hard not to spoil this.
Yeah.
I didn't realize really early we had to go off topic very quick because I didn't realize how easy it was to spoil it. I specifically said to Blake, "Don't spoil this." I'm like going through a weird random thing, but yeah, yeah. So if you haven't already, put in this hashtag Powerbomb. Like I said, I have 7. I think I have 7 issues. If my shop is issue 3, I'll send you all the single issues. If not, then we're probably just gonna order the thing off of Amazon and we'll see what goes on with that. But yeah, this was great. I think this is a must read. If you are a comic book fan, if you're a wrestling fan and you don't read comics, this is top tier comic
Yeah.
book. I know that Chaos wanted to come in and he wanted to say that Daniel Warren Johnson has done a lot better stuff. And I think that is true. I think that Murder Falcon is personally my favorite. He says he really likes Extremity because it does something a little bit different than some of the other stuff that he's done.
Which
But
is funny
overall,
because
I
a
think
lot of people have spoken negatively about Extremity, saying that like it's very different than his other stuff and
it
harder to
is.
get
And
into.
that's why I think Chaos is, one of those types where it's
One
like
of those people.
like he just likes more obscure
Yeah,
stuff and
yeah,
that's
no,
the
like
thing. Like
I've
like
talked to him about manga and he reads like off the wall shit. Like cuz I'm very like mainstream manga, right? Cuz I'm still getting into it and like new to it. And he's like over the mainstream shit and like he reads like he like tells me about stuff that I've never heard of, and it sounds like really cool, but I'm just like, what the fuck, man? I am
If
just
if
like,
you want to get really weird, Blake, I don't know if you've read this or not. Someone recommended a manga to me, and I technically checked out the first volume of it from the library, but it's old, so probably maybe wouldn't make sense for this. But maybe we can do some weird little offshoot of us talking about it. It's Spy X Family. I
it's
don't know if you've read
amazing.
that.
It's
Yeah,
amazing, and it's the new.
I
It's not.
checked out the
It's
first
brand
three
new. It's not
trades.
old.
Yeah, the
But
trade. Oh, the trade. I think the trade comes out this week, if I am not
yeah.
mistaken,
Well, this
because it
week,
came.
this week it shops.
Yeah,
Next week or two
this
weeks
week's
from
at
like
shop,
Amazon and stuff.
next week on Amazon or online retailers. Oh, did you? Oh, no one saw that. Apparently, I'm just doing this tab. I switched over to it. Yeah, because yeah, Image sent the trade review for it. So
Yeah,
that means that it's there. But okay, we're gonna run this. We've been at an hour.
let's
So
do it. Let's
let's
do
see
it.
who wins this up. And once again, thank you everyone for stopping by. We got 24
Yeah,
viewers
it's
at
a
one
huge
point, and
crowd
that is a
tonight. Thank you
record
so
for the
much,
show. So
everybody.
once again, thank you guys for that. We got Comics
Oh,
by the Bay. We got Malibu Mark. I don't know if he read this or not, but hey, I hope you didn't, because I think this would be a good one for you, and I think you would enjoy it. I know you definitely don't like wrestling, but I think you're gonna love the story. So
no, even if you don't like wrestling, it's nothing. It orients you very well. There's no like insider information you need to like really
yeah,
understand it. I'm It's actually $3 a month now. They raised the price, but it's still worth every penny. That's when I lost or when I lost my job. When I quit my job, I canceled all my subscription services except luckily I have DC Ultra paid for the year, right? And then I kept Viz. So like those are like the only services I kept. So I still have that. But yeah, if you're interested in manga at all, like for real,
I might
three
check it out.
dollars a month. You can read so much stuff. I mean, like Dragon Ball Z's on there, Demon Slayer's on there, Spy Family's on there. All these big manga are on there that you can read on your tablet for $3 a month. It's a great deal.
Yeah, so hey,
Well, there you go.
congratulations.
Now it's coming to you.
But yeah, you're gonna get it. So hey, congratulations, you won. Also, yeah, thanks again. I want to give a big shout out to Three Good Nerds. So if there's a moderator out here in the chat, if you can drop Three Good Nerds channel, he did a push for me that really pushed me over the top. I think that the day that he did that push on his channel, I ended up getting like 29 subs that day, and
Sick.
he it really pushed me over to get to this 1,000 subscriber. I told Flo, we were talking, I was like, I think that I could hit 1,000 in March, like at the end of
It
March,
happened
and
really
I did it
quick.
before it.
Like I
Yeah,
feel
it
like
just
because you were at just over 900.
I think
Uh,
when I started this month, I was at 837. So I got a decent push this month because Three Goods Nerds, for sure, you guys sent so many different people my way. So once again, thank you all for
I think
being
I
here,
follow
being a
them. I'm
subscriber.
not
And
sure,
yeah,
or
thanks for
subscribe
doing
to
this,
them. I'm not sure.
as we kind of go through in this. And yeah, thank you, Ignacio, for dropping that link. That is awesome. But yeah, it is great. And yeah, I'm going to be dropping. Oh, Steve, we already talked about you earlier. There was a person in here named Ian, and he gave you a shout out that you're a legend, and I agreed with him. So you are still here.
I
But yeah,
am subscribed to Three Good Nerds. So that's all right.
yeah, Three Good Nerds are awesome. Yeah, they did a push. And he gave out, I haven't even seen who won it, but he did a Walking Dead giveaway for people that came through and came through. Oh, yeah, sorry, Steve. We just literally ran
Oh,
that.
sorry,
So
buddy.
sorry about that, bud. But yeah, Blake, we've been over an hour. Is there anything you got going on your channel this week?
Yeah, tomorrow I'm talking to Michael Katz about Golden Age, his original graphic novel on Kickstarter right now, which has like he's really connected to like a lot of these comic book like Ron Martz edits all his books for Kickstarter, and his stuff is really good. And we're gonna be talking about Golden Age tomorrow, and then Thursday I got In Symmetry Productions coming on to talk about their new all ages comic, Misfits Clubhouse, which looks real fun. And I'm not used to, like, I don't know if I'm not going to be able to say like bad word. Like they got to know, they've been on my show before. Like I
You
don't
got to
care if you
just
got an
ask
all
it
ages
about it.
comic or not. Like I'm still me. Like I
I,
can't control
I'm
myself.
assuming what's going to happen is they want you to promote this book so that you can get people like me who have children
Yeah, I think
to
that's
buy
and
this book,
I
right?
do like I'll send you the link because it does look fun. And I'm already a fan because one of the characters is named Bruce, and my dog's name is Bruce. And but it's Bruce the shark, and it's like the Bruce the Aqua Detective or something is one of the shorts. There's like 4 shorts in this single issue, but the art looks really fun. It looks cool. I'm stoked.
I think you mean Terry Moore.
Yeah. Oh fuck, I wish.
Both of them are legends, but one is a
I
little
did
bit.
interview Terry Moore, and just recently, the last episode I put out was I talked to like Andy fucking Diggle was on the show, which was amazing, and it was so funny because he mentioned, he was like, I've done some stuff that I'm not that proud of, and some stuff I really am, and he was like, I feel like he's writing the Expanse for Boom for Kickstarter, which broke $1 million on the campaign, because Boom's doing, you can like pre-order the hardcovers or the 12
Oh yeah.
issues.
They did the
But
same thing with Berserker,
yeah,
which is
Berserker
probably my
and
most disappointing Kickstarter that I backed.
this looks pretty cool though. Like, and especially if you're a fan of the Expanse, and Andy Diggle's like a huge, like he was, you could just tell how excited he was talking about the Expanse. But he was talking about like some of the stuff that he doesn't like, and I told him how like I really dug his Daredevil run, and he was like, "That's funny because Daredevil's one of the things I wish I never did." And I was like, "Oh man, no." But yeah, we had a great chat, and that's on the podcast, or you can go to the Blake's Buzz YouTube channel and like watch it if you want. That's the most recent. And then tomorrow I'm dropping my interview with Mad Cave's CEO Mark London, and his Hunt Kill Repeat comes out tomorrow as
Which
well.
comes out tomorrow.
Yeah,
One
so
of my most
I'll be
anticipated.
dropping that sometime in the morning. So that's what I got going on this week.
Hey, what's going on, Mad Respect? Thank you for stopping in. We're just kind of finishing up, but you are more than welcome to go back and watch this. We try to keep it as little of spoilers as we can, so
Yeah,
hopefully,
and like for real, this was like one of, I mean, this was a big book this week too, but like this was one of like, it's the best crowd we've had, I think. In the, was this our 6th episode?
Yeah, episode 6. And sorry, I keep muting, and I've got this weird sinus thing that just
Dude,
has
my
been
sinuses are
going.
fucking terrible today. It's
But
been
yeah,
sucking.
so this is episode 6. We'll probably figure out what we're doing after this. But yeah, this week I've got I'm probably gonna drop at some point my 1,000 subscriber push. I'm guessing sometime in March I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm talking about some of the prizes. Here, I'll just spoil it.
Are you giving away something big, you think, or giving away a laptop?
No, not laptops, but I've got so I never did a 500 or a 750, but
Okay.
I've got and hey, what's going on, Scott Vaughn? How's it going?
What up? What up?
Um we got so I've got 2 mystery boxes. One of them has an artwork from a member of the comic book community, like an original art piece. One of them is probably going to have some signatures and some like exclusives. One The other one I'm giving away it's not a gray slab, but it's an 8.0 of a Draculina #1. It's a variant, the one in
Ooh.
10 or the one in 20. It's a pretty sweet cover, but it came back with, it's got scratches on the cover that you can hardly notice, but it really did it. There's a 9.8 Venom Comic Tom exclusive for Venom #1 that will be in the prize pool. And I think that I mentioned that I'm giving away a lethal protector and a 9.0 too. So Venom Lethal Protector. So if you guys are Symbiote fans, make sure you check it out. I'm sure there will be other stuff that I give away. And yeah, I know that there's been a few people that have mentioned that they want to come on the live stream that I do when I do that. So make sure you come and check that out Friday. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to see that. Friday, I'll be doing my most anticipated comics as always. I think that Bearded and I might be dropping our new challenge. I've been in changing my audio interface and changing my editing tool. I've gotten behind a little bit more than normal. And Monday, I will open a 616 exclusive. And thank you for that. And I'll be opening their Patreon box, which I'm excited to see. If you guys haven't checked out Bruce and Stephanie too, he opened his today. I'm hoping that mine is a little bit better than his. Oh,
Holy
there we
shit,
got
David.
him.
What's up, David?
Hey, if you guys didn't know, we've got the singer of Talking Heads in here.
Had a few comic book pros in the house tonight.
Just
Thanks
kidding. He
for
wrote this.
tuning in.
Well, this book.
What are you
But
pointing at?
this
Oh,
is
behind you. I thought you were
yeah.
like gonna put a graphic up or
I was
something.
trying. Oh, there's a stake right technically here. But yeah. Cool. And yeah, that's it. Sorry. That was a weird way to go. But hey, I've been Cole. He's been, what's your name?
I've been Blake.
And a wise man once said right on. And peace.
Thank you so much for coming out, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you, everyone. This has been our best one set yet. So we will probably figure out what we're doing, and hopefully we'll release that again for next Tuesday. So once again, thank you all for stopping by. Peace.
Peace.